Gonna have a surprise video coming up to you. Gonna go shoot it tomorrow. Very special lady.
I bet Ray loves hearing stuff like that too, because you realize you're not just talking to the dead air, that somebody's actually watching it.
Oh, that had me up out of chairs too.
Was that
This is unacceptable. You know, I've been through rehab. I know you got to accept things cannot change. Well, this was an unacceptable thing.
Was it on the KTVO line?
Yeah, channel 3 probably.
Oh, you know, I wanted to tell you all too. I don't know whether you're familiar with this talk show his name is Norman Goldman.
You mentioned him to me.
Oh my God, he is so pro marijuana, and he lives in California, so he's all set that he's a real, and we're really enjoying
Meeting each other and having
meeting each other,
awesome
and
conversation.
discussing the intelligence of legalizing medical cannabis and how many lives it could save if the government weren't so stuck in the archaic past. I believe that many of the politicians were probably, you know, in their 50s in the 1930s, and they think that satire, Reefer Madness, is a documentary. It was like a total farce, you know, and right now, I want to see medical oil, or cannabis oil, legalized. Cannabis oil cures cancer, pure and simple. I can tell you numerous documentaries that explain it in great detail. The cannabinoids in THC match perfectly the receptors in the human cell. Also, cannabis is a free radical. If you ingest it, it goes out and it tracks down all the odd cells, like the cancer cells, and zaps them and takes them out. It's like the Avenger, you know, boom. And it's natural. It's not addictive, has no negative side effects, and it's not a gateway drug, like many people try to sell you.
You know, and if anything, some people will tell you it's the gateway from the hard drugs.
Right, exactly.
Some people they've gotten up the prescription painkillers, and the street drugs, the cigarettes, the booze, by marijuana, by cannabis. It's the exit drug.
Yes, definitely.
It's not. You know, these gateway goons and the drug apes of Iowa. They want to say Marie cannot use marijuana to benefit her life.
Right.
This is the politicians in the state of Iowa would tell this woman
that I cannot, if I have cancer,
that it's not going to benefit her life anymore, so she doesn't need it.
You know, I would like to see
it's just ridiculous.
The legislators of Iowa be put in prison for practicing medicine without a doctor's license, because that's basically what they're doing. They're telling us what medications and what medications you can and cannot take. They're not doctors. They have no medical training. So why aren't they being put in prison for practicing without a license?
Yeah, the police aren't doctors like Flo Bogart.
Right. Oh.
Yeah, he's the worst.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he said that people like me should take morphine
and Oxycontin
for my pain.
because those are safe and proven FDA drugs.
Yeah.
It's like, well, those FDA drugs aren't safer, and they're not proven to be safer. You could just manufacture them
in the bathtub.
Yeah. No, and sell them to people for billions of dollars.
Yeah. But the thing that annoyed me is I played that for my doctor, and he said, "That's ridiculous."
Oh yeah.
Chronic pain is not solved for health at all. It's only exacerbated by narcotics, which Oxycontin and morphine are. Why are narcotics legal in Iowa, but marijuana, which is a natural plant, growing out of the ground, made by God, illegal? I just don't get it. Well, I do get it, but I don't want to go into that whole thing.
Yeah, that's when we get into the control thing.
Right, because you cannot patent it.
That's it. And they always get into, well, it's never going to be the same every time.
Oh.
the same dosage and this and that. And I went through all that with the Board of Pharmacy. Listening to those. Like my glasses?
I love them.
I don't know if I could slide one you or not.
Oh, neat. Great.
All right.
She's
Now
a natural
There
then
she
too.
is.
Now we're talking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now we're talking.
Oh, it wasn't that many years ago that air was illegal in the United States. Ozonated air, which is just O3 and not O2.
The part I got a major problem is with these confidential informants that they send out to buy a quarter ounce of pot.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's been going on down in Muscatine and stuff. I seen in the paper. Be like a man charged with felony marijuana sale, and then you look into it, and it's like it was a confidential informant went and purchased a half ounce of pot from some guy, and now this guy's facing federal charges over. And how much money was invested to
Right.
to pull that
Right.
sting off and everything like that for what? To get a half ounce of pot off the street? Oh, come on.
And think about the cost of the court, the trial, and it takes, I think, between 40 and 50 grand to keep a prisoner
Oh, yeah.
incarcerated for a year.
Yep.
So multiply that by how many people are in there for minor drug charges. It's ridiculous. The majority of people in prisons in the United States are not there for severe crime. I mean, like rape or murder.
Well, those ones aren't in there long enough is the
Right.
problem.
Exactly.
Some of the molesters and stuff, they be getting out in like little amounts of time. And
Yeah.
it's like, what, you're going to lock a guy up for pot for 10 years?
The medicine thing. I don't care about getting high. I just want to go to sleep. And I want to get out of pain. I don't want to have sharp muscle spasms. Because if I get exhausted, I get really out of it. I mean, the worst thing for chronic progressive MS is exhaustion and stress, which medical marijuana takes care of. But if I don't sleep, I am stressed and I'm exhausted, especially.
I understand that part of it, the sleep and the exhaustion.
And then you notice after a couple of weeks you're downhill. You lost functioning or something. But that's all I want. I want it for medicine. I just want to.
And you want to be able to sleep and be able to sleep because with the sleep you don't have the stress. If you can't sleep, then you're stressed.
Exactly. And also in the International Journal of Neuroscience, they said in neurology there was a report that was, or a study that was carried out in 2004 in Spain, and it showed that in laboratory mice that they demyelinated spinal cord.
And you know what that means? The demyelinization, that's MS.
And then they put the cannabis oil on it. It remyelinated it. So that means there is hope for people with MS or other, spinal cord
Neurological disorders.
They can remake the cells.
Right,
Spinal cord
right,
cells.
exactly. Well, that's what I've learned more and more about my research into the plant and the CBDs and things like that. The marijuana actually mimics like a natural steroid.
Right.
And that's when we were talking about juicing leaves and how it's healthy, beneficial for
Yes.
your health, not for the high or not for the pain,
Right.
but for your health and your overall state of well-being. And that's the one thing.
Yeah, I know. I would love to have a growing house and be able to juice every day.
But the juice and the natural CBDs mimic the steroids, and that's why they say like the MRSA, that infection that people get from the hospital, that it's really come on like in the last few years or whatever. You always hear about MRSA attacks, but they say that cannabis is a great infection fighter against it. So it's like for me, I've never had a situation where I've
Needed it.
for MRSAs, you know what I mean?
So
But then
you've got a preventative.
I want to believe that. I do want to believe that.
But
I have faith in that.
Good. But it is a sin that in this day and age, from the 21st century, an American cannot get medicine that will take away their pain, take away their muscle spasms and help them sleep, and basically retard or stop the progression of their condition. It's been proven. Why is that not happening? We must be like I feel like we're in a third world country sometimes. That people are so closed-minded, and money is the thing that makes things move. Unfortunately, I'm not rich, so I can't pay politicians off.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing
I
happens
agree.
for me. If I were rich, believe me, I wouldn't be laying here, suffering. And I think that's all I have. I'll think of something as soon as you turn it off.
No,
I just want
no, it's great. You just want people to know that.
that I just want it for medicine. I'm not looking to get high. I'm 60 years old.
Obviously.
I don't even go outside my house. I don't even get out of my bed except for once a day. I just stay inside on my computer. And I'm not going to, the last thing I'll say is, we don't need nanny state government. We are adults. We know what we want to do, and we should be able to do it as long as we are not hurting anyone else, or hurting anyone else's rights. What I do in the privacy of my own home, as long as I'm not affecting anybody else, should be my own business. And if you think it's dangerous, that should be my decision on whether I want to do it or not.
Yep. I couldn't agree anymore. Excellent.
The last thing I will say.
Thank you, Marie. Thank you.
The very last thing, just to put things in real perspective, right now the legislature of Oregon, which is an extremely progressive, intelligent state, wants to get it made a law that a person would have to get a prescription from their doctor to buy a pack of cigarettes.
I know. I see how that.
think
I actually think that's good, and that just proves the hypocrisy.
Yeah, I think
That proves the hypocrisy that.
that anybody can buy cigarettes.
But what would a doctor prescribe you something that was going to hurt you? You know, I mean, like,
Right,
would a doctor actually say you can get a prescription for cigarettes so you're going to shorten your life?
Yeah, exactly.
So it kind of, it's like it really opens the conversation to be like, well, marijuana doesn't hurt your lungs. Marijuana doesn't cause cancer, and this government death does.
I'm sure one of you guys posted this, but I noticed it and I read it and copied it, that people who smoke cigarettes and smoke marijuana have less chance of getting cancer than just the cigarette smokers.
Yep.
So the cannabinoids protect your lungs.
Yep. They do. That they do.
So we are being prevented from using something that would help us and keep us living longer and better quality of life.
Well, the only one thing I wanted to just mention was, even though it's not going to happen in Iowa, it's looking like Illinois, if they vote next week, maybe we're going to have some pressure on Iowa. Maybe we're going to have a border state that's going to have medical marijuana. And I know that Minnesota is going to get a lot of pressure now with this lady's last press conference, and with Pawlenty being out of governor there in Minnesota. But if Illinois can get through a medical marijuana, I mean, they've had a medical marijuana law, the state of Illinois has, but they've never enacted it. And now they're at the point of where they can enact it if they get this final vote through next week. And if they do, sure, it's not going to be wide open and everything like out in California or so to say other states, but at the same time, people are going to be able to have access to it. And it's not going to be like they did in New Jersey, where it's all restrictive and everything. It's going to be available.
Do you know very much about Maryland? Because Maryland's where I was born and raised. I didn't move here until later in life, but it's medical cannabis.
They have the medical necessity defense in Maryland.
Well,
now they voted for it.
Because the governor said to the legislature, he said, "Look, get together a bill because I want to sign it ASAP."
Right.
And the headline was, "Just say now to medical cannabis." Like Nancy Reagan, just say no to drugs. Just say now to medical cannabis.
I say, just say yes. Just say yes to cannabis. Just say no to FDA dope.
Very good.
Well, thank you, Marie, for entertaining us in your home and letting us come down and visit your wonderful town.